Get more details from Alex in the queue.
So it's coming against the backdrop there, as you were hearing from the WHO, of this surge in the virus. And charities are warning that's not stopping people trying to make this perilous crossing from North Africa across the Mediterranean to the states of southern Europe. The summer weather drawing more people to make that journey. Well, this is the tweet, the update from SOS Méditerranée, which is the organisation operating this vessel. And we can bring you pictures, actually, from the rescue. Let's show you these. This shows you there the dinghies going out trying to rescue these people. We know among the 51 was a pregnant woman and 50 other men. They were found adrift about 20 nautical miles south of Lampedusa in what SOS Méditerranée described as the Maltese/Italian search and rescue zone. Now, the real tricky thing here, of course, is not just for the search and rescue ships to overcome the political obstacles they faced in the past with the authorities in these countries, but now also to deal with Covid-19, with the additional pressure to try and keep the virus off the ships, and then if they're rescuing people from the sea, to make sure they're not bringing the virus with them. I spoke to the director of operations for SOS Méditerranée, who gave me an idea about the added challenge this is posing.
The challenge we had was firstly not to have COVID-19 on board, through the crew. So we imposed the whole crew, the 33 people on board, a voluntary quarantine before onboarding the ship. Then the process on board is to consider that any person boarding after that could be a suspect case. So we have to treat people accordingly, monitoring temperature, making sure that people isolate one from the other. Physical distancing is obviously something which is complicated on a small ship.
And we know in the case of Sea-Watch 3, that's another NGO rescue ship, that COVID-19 has been a real issue. They rescued at least 209 people last week. They were brought to Porto Empedocle there in Sicily. They were then found, at least 28 of them were found to be testing positive for COVID-19. These they're being held in the port alongside the rest of the migrants being self-isolated. And we also heard tonight from our correspondent, Giorgio Orlandi, who is there in Sicily, that one member of that Sea-Watch crew, that NGO crew, themselves has been tested after showing flu-like symptoms. We wait for the result of that test. Again, raising questions about not just the normal questions that Europe seems to face every single summer about what to do with people making this journey, but also what to do when the borders are officially shut because of the pandemic. Georgia, as I said, is in Sicily. She's near that port where these migrants are being quarantined. And I asked her what local people there are feeling about all this.
So people here, well, they have mixed feelings, really. Some of them are worried, are concerned. They are mainly concerned because they don't think that those measures are enough. They don't think that it's enough to keep those migrants on board that ship. They fear that those migrants could flee at any time, carrying really the virus everywhere with them. Other people instead are more, if you want, open to the idea that, well, they have to stay there, they have to spend their 14-day quarantine period there. But the whole issue is triggering a lot of criticism at a national level, especially among political leaders.
And you get a sense of the frustration from the Sicilian president, who in a number of posts has called on the Italian government, the mainland government, to come up with a solution to stop the virus spreading while confronting the reality the migrant rescue ships will be operating this summer as people try and make this journey. So, Tokes, what we're talking about here is an issue Europe has faced, at least for the last 3 summers, a really intense, desperate humanitarian situation as people try and make this crossing. But now we have the added complication of COVID-19.